It makes perfect sense, I suppose, to begin with Milan in the fallout of that win for Juve tonight at San Siro. You're right in saying that they've been fun this season. They were quite good despite missing some key men, and it's good to see sort of them being title challengers once more. I just want to draw particular focus to a tweet you put out very recently, which was it's pretty much summed up the state of Italian football at the moment, which was word for word. How good is it to see a big, meaningful match between Juve and Milan, though? Just slugging it out. What a brilliant match this has been. Serie A, best league in the world, once again confirmed. I mean, I'm loving that there's no bias there. But it is difficult to say that Milan haven't been one of the more fun teams to witness in Europe this season. Where's it gone right for them?
Well, I think very surprisingly, firstly, it starts with Stefano Pioli just finding a system that really just works for a young team, and then having a group of players really buy into it. Obviously, Zlatan's come in and provided the goals and the focal point. But then you've got players like Rafael Leão really taking a step up. Theo Hernández taking further strides forward this season. Hauge coming in and slotting in really well. Davide Calabria taking steps forward. It's just, a lot of... and this is part of Pioli, that he's improved these players because he has introduced them into this pressing and high intensity philosophy that's suits a young team with a lot of energy. So yeah, that's probably the most pivotal point. But then these players individually taking steps forward. Leão is looking like he's just ready to just explode and break out at any moment. I think in the first half of the game today, he had Bonucci backpedaling and Delic backpedaling a fair bit and could have scored. And when you're learning your craft from Ibrahimovic, you're going to learn one or two things, and I think his game's become more well-rounded. Theo Hernández is probably the number one big improver, although he got absolutely bodied by Federico Chiesa this morning, but going forward, he's been spectacular and still maturing as a defensive player. But all around the field, I think the only person that's really not been as impressive as we thought they might have been is Sandro Tonali, who I actually, I'll pat myself on the back. I thought that at 35 million, it wasn't a bargain to bring him in. And I think he's kind of just struggled to be as much of a difference maker as he was at Brescia. And maybe the kind of high octane style doesn't suit him as much playing at the base of midfield as someone like Benacer. So all around though, this, compared to, some of the times that we think that Milan have been reborn over the last decade, I think now is the actual time where they've taken a step forward and are ready to compete again.
Yeah, now definitely feels like a different dawning because there have been a few false dawns over the past decade, as you've said. Now it looks as though they've got a squad which they can build from, rather than sort of just trying to get the maximum from a certain set of players in a single season. The likes of Rafael Leão, the likes of Theo Hernández, even Tonali, who hasn't hit the ground running. These players can build on the starts that they've made at this club. And just going back to Leão, obviously he came in from he came on from Lille after being at Sporting. Has got 4 goals and 3 assists in less than 850 minutes, I think it is, this season, which is a very good return. I know he's playing for one of the better sides, and obviously the team who's at the top of the table. But you have to appreciate that a lot of those goals are going to be taken by a certain 39-year-old Zlatan. And for me, my favourite performance of Leão's this season was against Roma, where he got a great double assist. The first was a little scoop dink through into the box and really astutely finished. And then the second was a real showcase of what he can do out wide in those tighter spaces, kind of coming in off the left, making inroads towards the box, and then cutting it across. It's those sort of more honed, refined showings that I think are emblematic of a player who's maturing.
And he'd never really played out wide before he got to Milan as well. So that's a part of playing out wide is I think he's developed that creative aspects of his game. And again, it comes back to Pioli. It's putting him in those positions to improve as a player. And kind of Ibra started his career kind of, moving out wide and developing himself as a more rounded forward in those ways as well. So, Leão's super exciting. His ceiling is monstrous. And so, I'm really, really intrigued to see what he can do going forward from here.
Theo Hernández as well. He's got quite a decent return in the goals and assists tallies this season, and I know it's sort of reductive to reduce players to those metrics, but it's not exactly bad for a left back, is it? Getting a handful of goals and a handful of assists as well already at the halfway stage. I think my favourite thing about Theo Hernández is that I was watching a video recently where he scored at a full San Siro, and it was kind of one of those videos where you just think, God, I wish we could get that back. We'd be so grateful to have that. But it was the stadium announcer, bellowing from the bottom of his lungs, Theo, Theo. And I thought it was absolutely fantastic.
Gol! Con il numero 19, Theo! Theo!
On Theo, you said that this evening he had a bit of a torrid time against Federico Chiesa and Dejan Kulusevski. Of course, I'm a big fan of Kulusevski. What was your sort of your tactical insight on that side of the pitch in this game in particular?
Well, I think he kind of found himself, well, firstly, a little bit isolated whenever Juve were able to break. And I think when he did find himself isolated, especially for the second goal, he just left way too much space for Chiesa to swing onto his left and take a shot. So he just wasn't as active as he needed to be on the ball. And then the first goal, he just didn't track back quickly enough. So I think it's always been the key issue with him as a left back is, he probably just lacks that little bit of discipline and a little bit of maturity in his style. But it's kind of the price you pay for someone that can be then such a game breaker going forward, that has pace to burn and stretches the game and hits the penalty box and has such an impact. So if he can continue to refine that aspect, and I think it has come quite a long way, but it's still got some way to go. But he'll get there.